Another part on our series about alcoholism, and this is a tough thing to talk about, and that is alcoholism a disease? Are they really sick? Or are they just jerks? And there is a little bit of difficulty in accepting illness or sickness that has to do with anything of the mind. I know when my mom was, failing and she was getting older, and there was some Alzheimer's involved, and I really didn't understand it. And so the things that she would do, I would take personally. And I just felt like she could do something different if she wanted to. She just didn't want to. That was her MO. She was just stubborn. And I started to read, I started to talk to people that knew more than I did about Alzheimer's, and then I started to soften in my heart. And I realized that I didn't know what I didn't know. And I had made a lot of assumptions and judgments without having any information. It was kind of ignorance prior to investigation. And so that is kind of a little bit what I want to talk about. And if you are totally, cut off to this or closed off to this, then I would just ask why. And it may be because an alcoholic has hurt you horribly, and we do that, and that is, so unfortunate. Because if you can understand, if you can soften your heart, if you can come at the person like they are a sick person, then you can get to a solution. Not that we can fix anybody but ourselves, but that you can get to a solution of sorts that gives you peace in your life. So in my own alcoholism, understanding the disease of alcoholism was like somewhat of a freedom to me. It wasn't an excuse. I still had a lot of work to do to clean up my mess of the past, which was huge. So this is what I came to understand. In the work that I did and my understanding of alcoholism, I came to understand that it was a disease, and it was threefold. And it started in my body with an allergy, and that allergy kicked off after I crossed the line from a normal drinker, social drinker, heavy drinker to an alcoholic drinker. Once I was an alcoholic drinker, when I put a drink into my body, it set off a craving for another drink, and that craving was never going to be satisfied. That is just kind of a weird concept. But if you think about it, as an alcoholic, I can say I'm going to drink one drink. I'll only drink 2 drinks at this Christmas party, but then I get 2 drinks in me, and I got to have that other drink. I've got to have it. And I can't tell you when I'm going to stop. So 1 drink is not enough, and I don't know how to stop, and that puts me in quite a dilemma. The problem on top of that, if that isn't bad enough, is that my mind doesn't help me with that. I spent years trying to stop drinking. And you know what my mind would do? My mind would say, he's the problem. Really, your drinking's not the problem. He's the problem. Or maybe you shouldn't drink that beer. Maybe you should go to wine like a lot of your girlfriends. Or maybe wine's not the thing. Maybe vodka. I don't know. Or how about this? Don't drink there. Every time you drink there, you get in trouble. Or don't drink with that friend. She's too wild and crazy, and she brings you down every time. So solution after solution, excuse after excuse. I thought in my mind it would be different if I did something different. So you have this kind of insanity of the mind. My mind can't see the truth about my drinking, and it kind of cyclically keeps me in this. I will take a drink because I think it will be different. My drink takes me because I need another one after I take it. And then I am in this cycle of alcoholism that I cannot stop on my own. Now, when it came to the solution was having faith in something bigger than me. The people in a program, a hospital that is going to help me to detox and then start to rebuild my life. Something bigger than me that is going to get to the bottom of my problem. I found too that none of that would work unless I put down that drink and said, I'm just not going to drink. Just not today. I'm not going to drink. And I'm going to see excuse me, if my life can't go forward without alcohol. It didn't take any time at all for me to see wonderful things happen in my life because I stopped drinking. And I'm not trying to promise you unicorns and rainbows. There were just a lot of things that I had no idea were related to my alcoholism that started to change. And so I had this life incentive that kept me away from a drink 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. So going back to, I have a problem in my body, my mind won't help me with that, and my only solution is outside of myself, to just say, I need help, could you help me? This moment of humility that gives me one day at a time for the rest of my life, a life better than I could have ever dreamed of. And I didn't believe that. I thought that was bull. You know what I thought? My first experience of listening to people, I thought a couple things. I thought, if you hadn't drank in 3 years, why would we still be talking about it? Why don't you get a life, go live a life, and have that happily ever after? Why are you still talking about the problem? And the answer to that is to keep it in the forefront so that you don't go backwards. And it's not something you have to do all day long every day. It is something that I was taught that you have to do for a piece of your day for the rest of your days. Just a portion of my time for the rest of my time. And so when I think about it in that first hour when I'm hearing these people talk, I am thinking also they must be lying, because if anybody can stay away from a drink for a period of time, which I cannot do, I can't do it. I try every morning and I cannot do it. They must be lying. So already when I got into some kind of a group that was doing what I could not do, I had this source of success at my fingertips to show me the way. And on my own, I could never do it. Now, if anybody else said, you don't have enough money, if you would just follow this group of people and they could tell you how to be successful, I'd probably sign up. If anybody said, you struggle every day with your kids, if you would just read this book, you would do so much better, I'd buy the book. But in my alcoholism, it was so hard for me to get from, I can do it myself, to, can you help me? Can you help me? But when I did, it was like winning the lottery. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you're hearing any truth, then just see if you can't break down that wall and give it a go. If it doesn't work, they can just, refund your life as it is today, which if you're listening to me, you're probably struggling a little bit, but it's worth the try. It is worth an hour of your time to get outside of yourself. Make a phone call a friend that you know has succeeded where you're failing in this drinking thing, and see if you can't find some light at the end of the tunnel. So thanks for listening, and sign up, subscribe, follow, and see if we can't learn a little bit more to break down this wall of ignorance about alcoholism so that people can have a little more freedom, a little less shame, and a little more success. Thanks.